Hello. It's been almost 7 years since Bishop Curry delivered the sermon at the wedding of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. And appropriately enough for a wedding sermon, the takeaway word was love. Sacrificial, redemptive love, he said. Of course, the media heard this as incredible news. Love. Who knew, right? And it was from the Bible. Well, this past Sunday's epistle left us on the brink of Paul's great love chapter, 1 Corinthians 13. And we step out of the sequence of lessons for the Feast of the Presentation this Sunday, so we won't get to hear that chapter in church. But my goodness, it's a great chapter. It offers us some of the most beautiful language found anywhere on love. Paul writes, "Love is patient, love is kind, love is not envious or boastful or arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice in wrongdoing, but rejoices in the truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends." Well, if only it never ended, huh? As you may know from C.S. Lewis and others, the Greek word Paul uses for love in this passage is agape. And agape is one of the three Greek words for love used in the New Testament. There's eros, or erotic love, and phileo, or brotherly love. And finally, there's agape, a self-giving love, often presented as the love God has for us. And it's this agape that bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. It's this self-giving agape love of God that never ends. So what's the difference between this godly love that never fails and the kind of love that seems to let us down half the time? The difference is that love that starts with us and goes out to another person is usually conditional. I love you as I think you are, or I love you as you are now, or the worse yet, I love you as I wish you were and hope to change you to be like the ideal of you that I love. All of these are examples of love that starts with me. But Paul tells us of a still more excellent way. With God's help, we can practice agape, the love that is God's love for us. Agape love starts with God and God's love for us. With this love of God and God's love for me, I can then begin to see other people as God sees them. From this experience, I reach out in love to others with the love that begins in the very life and nature of God. I can see every person, as one for whom Christ died. The love that's within and among the Trinity is not conditional, and God's love for your spouse is not dependent on his or her likes and dislikes, or job, or mood, or anything else so changeable. God's love for your children does not depend on their lovability. God's love for your friends does not depend on whether or not they let you down. God's love for everyone else, is a lot like God's love for you. This love is a lot more dependable than we are, even on our best days. This kind of love is part of the love God has for all creation. Agape is, as someone has said, God's perfect gift to an imperfect humanity. And that love continues, despite our brokenness and sin, to seek wholeness for us all. Agape love always risks the possibility that the love will not be returned and loves anyway. When God became flesh in the person of Jesus and lived among us, it was possible that no one would return that love. The incarnation, God's becoming human, is when God risked everything for love. It was God's ultimate act of vulnerability. Real love does not force or coerce. This love was the love that was in the very life of God before creation is the love that never rejects, even when it is rejected. This is the love Jesus had when he was dying on the cross and looked out at those who were killing him as they mocked him and said, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." God's love is being more concerned about the other than about ourselves. But it's more than a feeling. Agape love is a decision, an act of will. Love calls us to decide to see others as God sees them and to act on this decision rather than just feel the emotions of love. Agape love cannot start with you and go out to them. The love you have for others must start with God. So ask God to give you this gift. But there's also promise here, and I hope you heard it. Love never ends. Love is the power that sustains the universe and each one of us. Love is God, and when we, under the power of God's love, stretch ourselves beyond ourselves to love as God's love, as God loves, we participate in that which is forever and from which nothing in this life ever separates us. Love never ends. That's the promise, that this agape love is a gift from God, which is the still more excellent way. See you soon.